Hello, everyone. We are back here at the RTV Radio Show through the Radio on Fire broadcast. Here again with a special guest. But before I get into it, I want to always thank our viewers. Thank you for the comments, the encouragement, for asking and requesting to come on our show. You are truly part of this village that we are building and restoring. So we want to thank you all for, one, sharing our video out, telling others about it, and being a part of restoring this village. As you all know, every week, Mondays at 7 p.m., we are here spotlighting mainly community leaders in the city, as well as spotlighting some information about, precedent information as far as it could be politics, whatever is going on. So I want to just thank you so much for allowing us to be on your screen or on your phone. And again, if you can be a part of this by sharing it out to your networks, that would be great. Last week we had DeWard Thomas, and I just want to thank him with My Father's Plan once again for being our guest. And today we have another special guest, and I think this one is even more special to me. Not only is it a friend of mine, but also a neighbor. And she just has a wonderful story. She and her son, hopefully her son will be able to come on. He's caught up in work, but his story is still going to be there. And we're going to push this, the vision that they have out to our networks. So our special guest for today is Miss Bettye Blaize, and I'll still say her son, Terrence White. They are co-authors of Doing Time with My Son. We'll kind of put it in the comments as far as the front of the book, but I want to kind of just say something before I bring her in. Back in 2019, I don't know if you remember this, Miss Bettye, but you're gonna hear it. Back in 2019, we were communicating with one another through email. We had not even met each other. Well, we could have. I'm not sure, since we had she had a grandchild in school and my daughter. But at any rate, she had sent me an email, and I just want to just highlight something she said on there before I bring her in. In the email, it was shown on there saying story of success after incarceration. And she wanted me to hear about her book as well as about her son's story. And so I'm just going to briefly talk about that. And as you all know, just with life, period, mothers are losing their sons through streets or through incarceration, or being single parents and, nothing's going on, but just being a single parent. So I think this was a great story, and it was a story of success after incarceration. And I think, and I'm hoping and I'm praying that this would be an encouragement to everyone listening. So she had emailed me, again, 2019, I want to say it was October, I could be wrong, but it says, Terrence has been almost home 9 years, again, this is 2019, has a CDL license, making almost 6 figures, remarried his wife, had a baby, bought a beautiful home, has over 800 credit score, voted, got his passport, and traveling the country. But what he is most proud of is giving other men, young and older, the possibilities of how to rebuild their lives when they come home. Then I saw the book. And I was given a book. Unfortunately, my daughter has it. But I was given a book, and I began reading it. And again, such an amazing story. And this is something we're going to try to dive in today. And also about how we got started, what she would like to give to others to encourage them. So I don't want to talk too much more. I want to introduce our special guest, Miss Bettye Blaize. How are you today?
I am wonderful, wonderful, Angie. And thank you so much for this opportunity to share this amazing story.
Yes. So do you remember that when you emailed me?
I do. I actually sent it to you and to Denise.
Good. So when I read it, I was just like, wow. So I never met your son, but I have, of course, met you. Thank you for your support to me. And again, I would love to continue to support you. Can you talk about I would say, first of all, what probably inspired the book, other than, the situation, but what truly inspired writing this book together?
Well, as I started an unknown territory, I learned so much along the way. I learned how to actually advocate for my son. And I just felt that it would be robbery if I didn't share it with some mothers like myself, because this is not for the faint of heart. And so you have to be a fighter. You have to fight, because even though they've done something wrong and you know who they are, so you know that what they did is not who they are. And so it was never going to be a situation where I was going to be tired and give up. I wasn't giving up until I had my son home healthy and whole.
Oh, that's just like, it's so, like I said, just inspiring, because, you know, we just had a Mother's Day, you know, yesterday. So I thought this would be so perfect to have you come on for a special Mother's Day edition. I think your story would be one that mothers would love to, you know, just be inspired, rather their sons are incarcerated, rather they've taken the wrong direction, or rather they're just a single parent who just need that hope. A lot of times I speak on my issue, or let's say issue, my story of losing my husband, because I really feel like people need to hear it, right? So I thank you for that, you know, for just doing that all together. So how did it actually start as far as writing the book? And it was like, I know co-authors, because he was inserting things too. So how did that work?
So I was coming home from visiting him, and I had this light bulb that just popped up in my head, and it said, "Doing time with my son." And I realized that every day that he was there, I was actually mentally incarcerated with him, because my mind couldn't stop thinking about how I can be supportive of him to make him know that it was a bad thing that he did, but it's a good thing that he was stopped, and that I wasn't going to be visiting him in the cemetery. And so each time I went, I learned something, whether it was sitting in the waiting room, whether it was being confronted by rude COs, whatever it was becoming a lesson for me. And so one day I said to my son, he was, the first 2 years that he was there, he was still getting in trouble, just on lockup. And so the last time he was on lockup, I really was tired. And I said to him, "You know what, Terrence? I don't understand how you can be locked up when you're already locked up. I don't get that. But what I'm not going to do is visit you in another compromising position. I'm not going to do that. And you already know I'm the gang leader. So if I go down, if I stop, everybody stops, because right now the support is for me to give me the strength to support you. So this is not what we're going to do." So that was the last time he was on lockup. And while he was there, I said, "Terrence, let's write a book. Let's write and document out everything that we've learned, everything that you've learned while you were here." And he was like, "I'm not doing that. I'm not putting my business out there." I said, "Fool. All they need is your first and last name. They don't need a birthday. They don't need a social security. They can know everything that you've ever done just by going to a judicial case search." And so maybe a day or two later, he said, okay. What he did was he started writing his life backwards. So he was trying to get to that brick wall where it all started, where things started falling apart from him. And that was the best thing that he could have possibly done, because the things that started this roller coaster for him was actually called trauma. But I didn't see it as trauma, as a lot of us, when we think about trauma, we think of somebody getting shot or a bad car accident. We don't think of things that happen in our household. You know, it could be something as simple as a loss of income, or a loved one in the household being incarcerated. For Terrence, it was 4 men that were very instrumental in his life that died back to back to back. And at that point, he gave up on men, trusted men, because he felt like somehow he may have been a little responsible, because all these men died back to back to back. And these were men, strong men in his life. And so as we journeyed through those 10 years, we just was writing. He would write, send me what he wrote, I would write. And it's really funny. And I share people I share with people some of the things that's in that book I did not know until I read the book, because we wrote our parts separate.
Awesome. Look at that.
So that's how it started. And once he started feeling that what he had inside of him could perhaps help a younger person not make mistakes that he made and make that door a revolving door, he started, I could see an instant change in him. And so, of course, that was the last time on lockup. And things just got, as the young folks would say, gooder and gooder and gooder. And he found himself in there. You would think it's a horrible thing, but I feel like wherever you can find yourself, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
And so he found himself. And one thing I share with moms when I talk to them, and he shares with young boys when he talks to them, is this. Most of our young men that are in these difficult positions have never completed anything. They would start something, and then they didn't have the support, maybe the finances, or anybody just to push and encourage them for every little thing that they did good that was going to lead up to something that was bigger. For Terrence, he took a course while he was there for plumbing, and he had a 3.79 GPA, and that was it. That was it. I didn't have to do anything else but support him through and, give kudos, man, because I already knew he was smart. I paid a lot of money on the front end for private school to know that he got something before he started this road of destruction.
So a few things you said, I'm over here looking. So if you ever see me looking down, I carry a notebook. So a few things you said really makes a big difference, and I want to highlight those things. You talk about, so let's just go down the list that I had. So you talked about trauma. Trauma can really make someone I don't even want to say not think straight, but just do things that are just kind of out of their norm, right? Out of their comfort zone, out of the things that they've even learned. I mean, there are plenty of things. When I hear people talk about, why are the young people doing X, Y, Z? Like, some things we've done that was out of our zone, right? But we may have done it out of hurt. We may have done it out of trauma. And a lot of what's going on in our city, our country, there's trauma, like back to back. Every time you turn on the TV, which I don't even turn it on the news, but there's trauma, to hear about what's happening to our Black men, our Black boys, to hear about our young girls. That's trauma. My daughter, she goes, is in college. When she comes here to visit, I'm telling you, my anxiety, is like, I know what I taught her, but I just hope that she took what I taught her, because I'm not going to hold her hand forever, right? And so in her case and in my case, the trauma was losing her father. And I always just want to put and instill in her, and she's making me very proud. And I just thank God for that every day. But I guess this is kind of why the series is like, I love how you just put it, a mother and son's enduring love, like just a mother's love. Like, you prayed for him, you spoke to him, you told him what you wasn't going to, expect, and that you saw more in him. And sometimes we all need that push. So because it's Mental Health Awareness Month, you hit on the nose with trauma. And so again, trauma of him losing men that was in his life, and I believe that were even from when he was younger, because I read parts of books. And so all of that is kind of bottled in, and if you're not getting that help with grief, it could be things that you're trying to do, or trying to find love in the wrong places, or that support. And let me just say, because like I said, you really hit home. It really even makes me think about DMX. He spoke about his childhood. He spoke about the trauma that happened in his life. He spoke about how, he may not have had his father in his life, but then there was someone who came in his life as a male figure, or a father figure, and that person hurt him, So trauma can follow us even in our adulthood. And the other thing you said was about finding himself, even though he found it in jail. That's fine. wherever you find yourself is a blessing. I always say about this pandemic that we're in, it may have had its bad, moments or not being able to see, but for me and a lot of other people, they've said they found themselves. Like they had that time to be to themselves. I don't know, rather spiritually to speak with God or just to pour into themselves or to invest in themselves. And the last thing you said was support. And that's what you have given your son from day one. And kudos to you and every mother. And again, it's Mother's Day month. But, mothers are just amazing, and we push and we endure through it all. So thank you, Miss Bettye, for all that you're doing, because you have pulled your son out of something that he needed, So that was such a blessing. And again, I said I had to talk about that because you were pulling at my heart of what you said. So Terrence now, I'm hoping he'll come on before the show is over. But Terrence now, what are some things that he's doing now to connect with the young men or older men that has gone down the same road?
Well, Terrence, unlike me, is not. I'm not going to say he's not sociable, but he's not going to strike up that conversation, or he was at one time wouldn't just. For me, if I'm standing next to you more than 5 minutes, we're going to be friends when I walk away. And that's my personality. It has always been. But for Terrence, this has opened him up so much to knowing that there are a lot of young men that are just like him, came from a stable environment, had a great village, but they get involved with other situations where they can't show that part of them. And that's what happened with Terrence. He couldn't show that he was loved and that, he had a great home, and the hustle that he didn't pay any bills in his home because he was provided for. And so a lot of this has taught him to share that, to let young men not be afraid to say, I got a great mom and my grandmother is the greatest and we have a nice home and all of those things. And I go to a Catholic school or I'm an altar boy. He made them unapologetic for that. Because for the longest time, even though the guys that he hung with, they knew where he came from, but the pressure that he was getting outside that door. And let me just tell you, Miss Angie, I was outside at 1 o'clock in the morning finding my son. It was me, and I would call my mother. If you hadn't got to that part of the book, I would call my mother. I said, Ma, it's 1 o'clock. I'm on my way to find him. She said, Bettye, please. She said, it's mean people. I said, I don't care, Ma. I'm going to find him. She said, okay, pick me up. Pick me up. So when we did some work, and my sister Joan, we would go, he would be in somebody's house, we would take the car. So I fought hard for him not to go to jail, but he fought harder and got there. And so he has now realized that his lessons learned can help somebody maybe not make all the steps that he made, because Terrence has several felonies. By statistics, he should not be where he's at today. Society did not mean for him to come out of this smelling like a rose. They did not. And I tell him that all the time. Statistics say you should be working in McDonald's on the early shift to make the most money. But that wasn't a plan for him. That wasn't my roadmap for him. I knew he was going to be okay, because everything that he learned, everything that every one of my other nieces and nephews graduated from college, he had the same. He got the same. Matter of fact, he was the only one that had a trust fund to go to college, and he went to jail. And so he is now opened up, and we are doing some amazing work in Alabama. We've been doing this work since December the 12th.
So you're out of Maryland. I mean, you're doing, other states and stuff.
I'm all over, everywhere but Baltimore. I'm everywhere but Baltimore. Let me be clear about that.
Okay. I just tagged the mayor. I just tagged a few others, and we're hoping that you don't have to just solely go out, but you can be part of, home as well.
But I've been doing virtual with Alabama and Bresner, Alabama. I'm working with their alternative schools, and I'm also working with their 2 juvenile facilities. and they have just made my book mandatory reading for mothers and their incarcerated sons or their sons that are in, because we were having issues getting parents to participate. Even though we're trying to help them, we couldn't get them to come on a Zoom. So I've done 8 Zooms with them, and they're not letting me go. I've already incorporated in their budget for next year. Terrence work with the boys. I work with the staff and the mom, and then Terrence and I collaborate working with the staff because they have a lot of questions for him. So also doing it in Camden, New Jersey. I just got a contract in St. Leary, or some part of Florida. I don't know what it is, but she saw me on.
That's right. That's you know it's God's plan. You're going somewhere you can't even pronounce.
She met me at the Youth at Risk conference that I've been doing for a couple of years, but we did it by Zoom. And she saw me. She was in my workshop, and she ordered 40 books right away. And Terrence and I are doing her conference next month. He's working with the boys in the 2 juvenile facilities by himself. I have a couple of students he can work by himself. And I am actually doing my very first keynote.
Oh, okay.
But and I am also about to have a Zoom call with Palm Springs, California. So it's really exciting because when I did it, this wasn't. It wasn't a monetary thing for me. It was a passion because I knew too much not to share. I knew too much. I learned so much not to be able to share it with a struggling mom because I realized that most of the mothers are half my age. And they don't have the patience that I had. And they don't like being told no. And that can cause a little conflict where now we know this child is not going to get the services that they need because you done popped off on the person. I'm teaching them how to just sit. If you're in the wrong room, that don't mean you're in the wrong building. Just sit there until that person finds out where you need to go to get the services that you're there for.
Amen. I think the biggest the word for the day for you, I'm trying to give everybody a word for the day. What's sticking out to me is patience. I know if I have not, I believe this is what you said, 10 years that he served. Okay. I told you to take my notes. So that takes a lot of patience, not be able to see your son, when you're in, it's kind of more like, oh my gosh, but then it was like, bring it down, you're going to be fine. I could feel it. I could feel that the spirit that you gave. And then, coming across this book and having him now dig into his hurt, his pain, his trauma, but also his hope. And to see that you guys are going across the country, speaking about your story is such an amazing thing. As I stated, won't put too much out today, but I will be doing kind of similar things where I want to I'm speaking to others, let them know that there's hope after the loss. And so, the things that I do, even from running for office is my passion. Not so much of getting the position or the title or wanting the title, but to actually make that difference. So thank you for going forward with it because of your passion, and it's because of your patience. It's because of your hope that you had. That's what pushed you forward. In that email, I'm not even sure if this is an old one, but it was back in 2017. You had sent it to me about the top 10 strategies for engaging mothers of incarcerated youth and young adults. Is that something you're still doing?
I am.
Okay. So I just want to say it again.
I have it for providers, I have it for young men, and I also have it for moms.
Awesome. So this says the article originally appeared in the September issue of Youth Today. I just want to read a part of it, and I must probably say a few steps, and then we can elaborate on those steps, if that's okay.
That's fine.
So it says, as a mother of a formerly incarcerated son, I know all too well the struggle that comes with having to ask for help from service providers and others engaged in the system. Even though these relationships were not easy to form, developing strong relationships with service providers was such an important step in my son's success, both during and post-incarceration. So there is a 10-step strategy that Miss Bettye has provided. I'm going to probably do 2 or 3, and then we're going to talk about them, and I'm going to do the others. But we're going to get to 10 of them, all 10, because I think it's very important. So the first one was, number 1, don't look at the mother of an incarcerated young man as if she's failed. Let me repeat that, because sometimes I hear people like, well, what about the parents? I'm not saying it doesn't start from home, but as you see, Miss Bettye had a loving home, a good home, and yet her son still took a different route. So we cannot always go and, attack the mother, but we have to help. So I'm gonna read that again because it was helpful for me to hear. Number 1, don't look at the mother of an incarcerated young man as if she's failed. Instead, look for areas in which she may not be strong, and then help her to address those areas. Number 2, be able to provide mothers with resources that have proven track records of helping families heal and incarcerated young people become successful. So there's more, but I'm just going to kind of phrase it. Number 3, if you don't know the answer to something an inmate's family member asks you, find it. Please never tell a parent that there's nothing you can do. So can we stop there? Can you tell me, it could be any of those 3, but definitely that third one. Have you had those barriers where someone couldn't help you or they kind of brushed you off? Or number 1, has anyone made you feel like you failed as a parent?
I'm going to give you a little bit on each.
Okay, good.
Number one question came from my heart, because I knew all my life that people were judgmental. And unfortunately, when a young person gets in trouble, they bring it right to your house as if you're the source. Not true. And so I was tired of it. And I lost some friends who I thought knew me that really didn't know me, because I provided for my child. Nothing that he did outside my house was in my house. So there was nobody in and out. And Angie, like you, I lost my husband when my son was 13. And so I never dated. And if I dated, I met my date at the bus stop. So nobody dated my son that dated me. So I needed to be real clear with everybody that was going to be on my team. And you have to be careful with who's on your team, because everybody's not team players. And so I said, okay, let me go ahead and start plucking them right now so that I'll be okay. And so if you had something negative to say about my son, and you knew him all his life, and you knew him as the little boy who was the most valuable player at Northwood Baseball League, and you knew him as playing drums at St. Matthews, and you knew all of that, but all you know now is what he did, you're gone.
Yeah.
And so I encourage people or people that were in or are in that situation now to just be careful who you allow in your circle. And so that's how that first one came, because by nature we're judgmental, So if I was labeled for what my son did, my Lord, all I did was work every day and provide gas and electric, food and water and all the good stuff that he needed. So
the environment played a big part.
Yes.
So we'll talk about that. Go ahead.
And so on the other one, if you go to a person, if someone has sent you to an office and said that person is the person that can help you, and they say to you, oh no, that's not what we do, don't get up. Don't get up. Just sit there. And eventually they're going to ask you why you're still there. And this is what I told them. I'm here because I know I may be in the wrong office, but I was sent to you. But I am in the right building. And so I need you to find out, who do I need to go to for the situation that I'm here for today? That's all I need you to do. And I'm probably going to say that's your job. Yeah. And so during that time, when they realized I wasn't leaving, until they left, I built a relationship. Yeah. Not only did she help me for that situation, but she also gave me some other good information to move forward with. So you have to stay calm, and you have to, if they tell you that that's not the truth. If somebody sent you in that building, somewhere in that building is the person that can help you. But our younger mothers will just get up and leave, and they're lost.
Yeah.
They're just lost because let me just share with you, the information that we needed is not out there for us to see. We got to pay for it.
Yeah, it's not easy to navigate through. I mean, I'm sure with the incarcerated, you know, in the jails, but also just our city government, state government, it's not easy for us to, you know, navigate through. You're correct with that. So I don't know. Listen, this is great. There's a lot that's going on. I really appreciate this conversation. Let me just say it's like 7:30, so half of the show. I want to say this to anyone who's coming on late. Mind you, it's live and it's recorded, so you can go back. We are here with Miss Bettye Blaize. She is a co-author of During Time with My Son, and we are here to talk about her book that she and her son had co-authored, as well as some steps that they're doing, how they got started, and some hope and encouragement to our city, to our mothers, to our sons. So if you've missed it, man, oh man, you've missed a whole lot. We have a fighting mother here, one who has been patient, one who has pushed her son to be all that he can be. So thank you so much again, Ms. Bettye Blaize, for being our guest. We're going to continue go on with the strategies. And my co-host is here. Hello, Brother Nance.
What's up,
Nance?
What's up, Miss Bettye? You know, Miss Bettye, you know, you my hero. You know, you one of my heroes. You one of my heroes out here. You know what I mean? You deal with my mentor. You keep my mentor, Dr. Lamar Shields, together. So
I know that's
right. You keep them together. I already know what you did with your son. If you can keep that brother together,
16 years I've been keeping him together. 16 years.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you for all you do for the community and holding us brothers up. I appreciate that. You know what I mean? Like, you definitely one of the matriarchs of our city. And I'm just glad that we got you on the show. And just giving you your flowers while you're here.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Flowers while you're here. I like that. All right. So we're going to number 4. Number 4. So Brother Nance, just so you know, we're doing the top 10 strategies for engaging mothers of incarcerated youth and young adults. It's something that Ms. Bettye wrote in the Youth Today article. Okay, so number 4 was, with the listening ear, listen to every word a mother says, whether a young person is stealing, coming in late, or sleeping all day. Taking in as much information as you possibly can to make sure that you can best serve the young man and his mother. Number 5, after listening, size up the type of treatment the young person may need, whether a 30, 60, or 90-day inpatient or outpatient program. Create a roadmap. I like that.
Yes, great roadmap.
And, yes, a number. Well, let's stop right there. So can you speak more about this roadmap, or like these steps of getting a person the assistance and the help that they need, Ms. Bettye?
Right. Well, you know, when we have our children at birth, we already have a roadmap. Unfortunately, Terrence didn't take the roadmap that I provided for him. So when I say that, it means, okay, once we know that the child is not coming home with you that day, then we have to start thinking about how to best support them in the situation that they're in now. One of the things that I encourage is what we just talked about, is the team. And then I encourage them, the mother or the parent, whoever that responsible adult is, to sit down and write some things out. Because one of the things that our young people need to do, and a lot of it is not being done in the home, is to set some goals. That's part of the roadmap. And so I ask them to set, especially for our young men, you can't ask them to do too much out far. So I only ask for a week, do a week goal, complete it. Then go to a 2-week goal. And then have the relationship with your young person that you guys can talk about their accomplishments as they're moving forward in this journey of being in a lockdown position. And so that roadmap is going to be so important for reentry. So we need to have that roadmap from the time that they are in this facility until the time that they're walking out the door. It has to be a plan and a roadmap. And so I encourage parents to have those conversations, because we know that these young people trying to call home every day, they need to set some boundaries on that too, because those phone calls are real expensive. My first one was getting ready to make me not have a phone. But at any rate, when you're having, mothers always say, I don't even know what to talk about. There's much to talk about. Talk about what you did today and how it improved you from yesterday. And do that every day, because each day should be an improvement.
Yeah.
Because keep in mind, this is what, for most of our young people, we know they're lying because they opened their mouth. When they are in this lockdown situation, they're going to tell you anything they think you want to hear. And you're going to believe it because that's what your heart wants to believe, that you instilled in them that they would want to do these things. Not so. My son said to me, I said, Terrence, did you sign up for any programs? Man, they got a waiting list. That waiting list is so long. I said, dude, you got 10 years. You ain't going nowhere. Man. You ain't got no more time. You can wait. And so finally, he started putting in for all these thinking. I guess he was thinking he just gonna put them in to satisfy me, because that's what he did all of this time up until he got incarcerated. He says it in the book. Most of the things he did was just to shut my mouth up. So at any rate, he did. He put in for journey for plumbing, for construction, and a couple other things. And I said to him, I said, well, listen, every time you walk past your counselor's office, just say to him, hey, Mr. Wills, where am I on the list? And do it every day. And then finally he did it, and he walked past, and the gentleman said to him, Mr. White, come on in. And the next day he was in school. And so I encourage the responsible person to not only listen to what that young person is telling them, but to go on the website of the facility that they're in and see that there are a lot of opportunities behind the bars, behind those bars. Now, Terrence was fortunate enough to actually he's a smart kid. He wound up facilitating Dare to Be King while he was there. Dr. Shields and David Miller I got permission for them to go into the facility and train him to do the Dare to Be King and Rhyme and Reason under a program by the state called Youth Challenge. Okay. And so he became a great part of some good stuff that happened while he was in Hagerstown. So much that when he was coming home at the last family gathering, the warden said to me, Miss Blaize, I know you want your son home, but we're going to miss him.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So a lot of times what brothers don't understand, it don't necessarily be about the crime. Like you said, it's about what's your plan when you come home. Because if you get skills, your record don't mean nothing. If you're a good ass electrician, a good plumber, a good whatever it is that you're doing, that's what I told my little brother when he came home. I was like, bro, you're not going to make it working at no Walmart or nothing like that. One, is not enough money. Two, the tolerance level of the people you deal with when you're coming back from jail. You know what I mean? Your mentality is a little. It took my brother like almost 2 years just to get out of jail mentality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I commend your son for, keeping his head high. But that says a lot. Again, that says a lot about you as his mother. You know what I mean? And he had the support. A lot of brothers, when they go to jail, the support is done. You know what I mean? And so their support become the people. I mean, fortunately, I haven't had to experience that because, I feel like my ancestors spent enough time in shackles. I don't need to do no time. You know what I mean? So that wasn't my ministry. But for the brothers that have done it, I've seen brothers come home and transition, but they transition by one, either utilize them same hustles and skills to create businesses, or if they do get a job, they're not getting no low-end job. They're getting something where as though they can still get paid as if they were, whether it's driving trucks, working for the city, or whatever the case may be. So I just wanted to say, salute to your son for just having the mindset of not letting the place shape him, but him shaping the place to work for him. Because a lot of people become the jail. And my little brother told me, I said, I didn't think he was going to survive, but he told me, he said, man, when I went in there, bro, I had to become a whole different person. Like, he had to really become like an animal. You know what I mean? And I was like, I'm just glad that it didn't overtake him. And he had a good mother too, like how you are. You know what I mean? Like, my mother was there, and you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't particularly there just because, I don't visit jails because I feel like I'm in jail when I go visit. So I don't even want to I visited my little brother one time, but I just want to commend you for that because it's really hard for these brothers to transition. Especially when they're coming home. As they said, programs, but you can have all the programs in the world. If your mentality and your support systems are not strong, the programs mean nothing, because the programs are really designed to somewhat frustrate the brothers, because also roadblocks that you got to have to achieve what you're trying to accomplish.
And a lot of our young men come home and their mind is still locked up.
Yeah.
And so they can't get ahead. And I share, everybody's not college material. My son had a trust fund for college. My niece didn't. She got 3 degrees. He went to jail. But I like to encourage, the young men to find something that they can actually have a career in. Now, Terrence came home with two certificates that were through the state of Maryland that he would be paying student loans forever if he had done this at home. But he really wanted to get his CDL license. And so he took a little job until he was able, then he got a job as a helper, and they saw in him what I saw in him, and they sent him to get a CDL license.
Yeah. Amen. We have Renata. She just said amen to us as soon as I said it. Comment on here. So we do have people looking at it.
I do have a question.
Say it again.
I do have a question.
Okay. I was just going to say, we have people watching through Facebook as well as our YouTube. And again, this is through the Radio on Fire broadcast. So thank you for continuing to support a Black-owned media. So let's make sure that we continue to support so we can get the word out. Yes, Brother Nance.
So my question is this, right? So I watch a lot of documentaries or whatever, right? So I want to know, is there anything that we can do legislative-wise? Why the brothers that are in jail and they're doing manufacturing jobs or develop skills, why can't those things count as like work history for them? Like, his brothers in there doing textile work, carpentry work. His brothers, they're building so many of the things that we utilize. You got brothers that's fish farming in other states, you know what I mean, and doing whole farming. But when they come home, they can't even use that as part of their resume. Like, and I think that is a crying shame that you can't take your jail experience as part of your working experience, because you are working and while you're in the jail. So what can we do about that, Miss Bettye, if anything?
Well, I think that we need to push for reentry for people that are coming home. We need to push that legislation. We have to, for so long we sit back and we say nothing. And so we already know that the courts aren't set up for our Black and brown boys. We already know that. So we have to make some things happen. I don't know. I really don't know a lot about politics. I just know that I feel like sometimes they're not for us as well.
Nice.
But here's the one blessing, is that unlike 10 years ago or 20 years ago, where you couldn't possibly get a good job doing anything with a felony, you can now, because there are some reputable companies that know you have a record. My son works for one of the biggest companies, trucking companies, probably in the United States. And they knew his whole background, but they gave him a chance as a helper. And then he went on and proved the rest to get his CDL license to become a driver. So we have to make those things known to our young men. Don't go looking for an IT job in a government building. That's not going to work for you. So, we're after a felony, basically, depending on what it is, it's going to be blue collar. But guess what? He makes as much as a lot of people that have a PhD. So it's not a bad thing anymore. It's not a bad thing to do the things that we used to think were low-level jobs.
Right.
So my son, and he's not going to make it, because he said he is just pulling in the lap to take his truck back. So, but I would hope that you would want him to come on.
No, I would actually love for him to come on, and we can actually curve his story a little differently.
Yes.
Than the story that you're currently sharing. Like, his story should be redemption. His story should be like, that's like how he's living is his form of reparations for himself. You know what I mean? And I would want to do something like that. Like, he restored himself, but with the strength of the village that was around him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we have the website up, and our lovely producers put it up.
Yeah, anyone would like. You the man, baby. Love you.
If you would like to support Miss Bettye and Terrence, you can go to their website at doingtimewithmyson.com. Our producer, Diamond K, he has put up the website. Loving the pictures, loving the, just pictures showing the speaking engagement and the signing, how to get involved, buy the book, about the author. So there's a lot on that book that you can, I'm sorry, the website. If you would like to support Miss Bettye and Terrence, right? Again, the website is doingtimewithmyson.com, and it is up on the website now. Love it. And I'm gonna get, so we're take 3 more minutes. I'm just kind of skim through it. While it's up to do it. This was let the mothers know about the support that's out there for them. And let them know that they need to be more educated themselves about the depths of the addiction, so that they can better serve their child. Number 7, learn to listen to mothers without judgment, kind of what we talked about in the first one. Number 8, once you do open up a good dialogue with mothers, reassure them that they're not alone in what they're going through with their sons. This is very important to have this support group, or to just be speaking with one another, talking to one another, because sometimes people may feel like this is only happening to them. And when you do have these support groups or to talk with one another, it is very encouraging. I think it's encouraging even when I talk about the loss of my husband, rather it could be incarceration of your son, trying to get them on track. They may not have even gone down the track of down the road of being incarcerated, but still a glimpse of something that someone like Terrence can talk to that young man about, and young women. And
I love the artwork. I love the freaking artwork.
Well, for the sake of time, I'm just going to do all 10. And if you want to elaborate on any of them, you can. Number 9 was when you suggest resources, make sure that you checked on them and the services you're recommending are still available and accessible. This is important because so many things is not there.
Very important. That number 9 is very, very important. That way you limit the frustration for a brother from going back out and doing what he was doing before he got locked up. You know what I mean? A lot of times we have resources. Give me a point person who I can talk to, what to expect. Have you seen someone else use the resource? Is it your resource? Like, manage the expectations so a brother can know, at least if he's going to hit a roadblock, prepare me for the roadblock. You feel what I'm saying?
And actually, Brother Nance, you just said frustration, and it's exactly the next sentence on that, is that it's very frustrating to go home excited to make that phone call, only to find out that the service is either no longer available or that your son doesn't qualify.
Or you got all of these roadblocks that they said wasn't the roadblocks when you get there. Now all of a sudden there's all these roadblocks. Now all of a sudden your record matters, but before they said, go to this program, it doesn't matter if you have a record, we're going to do this, we're going to help you get it expunged, we're going to do all of this. And
sometimes it's just to show that they just for paper, for politics, just to
honestly, it's to get them grant dollars, to keep it real. It's to get them grant dollars. People become data points instead of human beings. Let's just keep it real on RTV Radio. You know what I mean? Like, people are data points. You know what I mean? People are data points. So you make more money off people struggling in the backs of people pain than you do off people triumph. You know what I mean? Again, I just commend you two even writing this book, because I would actually want to know how would this affect that some of these things can be applied to women that have incarcerated daughters, because we have a lot more women getting locked up today.
Well, you know what, Nance? It's saying Doing Time with My Son because it was my son. But the contents of this book applies to any young person that's
I should already do that. I'm talking to Miss Bettye. My bad. My bad, Miss Bettye. Don't disrespect. I already know your book got it covered from the rooter to the tutor. Rooter to the tutor. Straight up.
One of the things that I was doing before everything shut down was my son and I had started this because somebody asked me, and I did it with oh my God, I can't think of her name, but she has a beauty salon downtown, Shortcut. Why can't I think of her name? But anyway, I did it at her. I did a talk at her barbershop. And so one of the things that I had wanted to do before everything shut down was have some barbershop talks and have each man bring a young boy.
Well, look, I'm getting ready to tag some barbers now too.
Have each man bring a young boy.
And I'm gonna do you one better. You can come to the cafe and do that same discussion at Legendary Lifestyle Cafe, and we can make it a legendary conversation. We can do a legendary conversation series.
Well, I'm down.
All right, sounds good. Diamond K, I need you to produce that, baby.
So really quickly, you have 10 minutes. But let me get to the last one. The last one was, if possible, help the family find any resources necessary to facilitate visitation. If a mother's not showing up, try to find out what barriers exist. Maybe it's transportation or childcare or finances or work schedules. I think that's important because we do know the importance of having your support system, you know, in the jail, and while that either the son or daughter incarcerated, it makes a big difference when their support system can go to the jail to visit them. So I think that was very important. We have 9 minutes, but I want to give this kind of over to you to see if there's anything else you would like to say, how people can support. I tagged a few people. I'm asking others to just share it out. But is there anything? Oh, well, we do have somebody that has something to say. So let me read this. Renata Henderson.
Facts. I agree with her on that one. I agree.
Brother Nance. So he gonna make us go over. It says I'll just read it. We got a couple more topics we need to go on. One other one that I live at, all men are going through child support. Okay. Nice. And they still take care of their children even though they're on child support. Something's wrong with the system, we need to change.
I love her.
So not sure if this could be part of it, but definitely without men having that. We actually talked about this. Wasn't it last year, Brother Nance?
Yeah, she breaking it down.
Support.
I ain't gonna lie, she breaking it down.
So that would be another topic. But I want you to, I just want to thank, Renata, for being on from the beginning and to the end. So now I'm going to say, Miss Bettye Blaize, if you would like to let people know how they can contact you, how they can support you, and what other things you're going, that's going on right now with you and your son.
Well, not so much support me. I want to support them. And so you can go to my website, doingtimewithmyson.com. You can order the book from there. If you have a group that would like for myself or my son to come out and speak, we love doing that. We love sharing our story. We love letting people see the possibilities and the hope, even though you've been incarcerated, and just all the things that goes into getting that person back healthy and whole. I'm a testimony that it can be done. Is it easy? But it gets easier as you go along. And so I encourage any person that's in this situation now that needs some real and good information that you go to the website and purchase a book. My information, I am very transparent. My real information is on my website, my cell phone number, my email address, and I'm available. I have people that call me when they bought the book just to ask me questions. I am open to that. So if there's any mothers that's struggling, that need a little help, I am here.
Yeah, you know what, Miss Bettye, I'm glad you said that because, my mom said, when my brother was locked up, it was like she was locked up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She was like, because it's like you can't sleep, you thinking about, throughout the day, them phone calls are like, if you miss a call, it just takes you on a whole nother, so I commend the mothers out there just not losing their mind. And because a lot of people can lose their self when their child is incarcerated. You know what I mean?
I had 2 girlfriends that had nervous breakdowns. So here's what I had to do, and I share this with mothers. Set your boundaries. He don't need to call you every day. He didn't call you every day when he was home.
Listen,
you're
that's number 11.
Set your boundaries and stick to
look, boy, you're not gonna be calling me every day. You weren't checking on me every day. You're not gonna be running my goddamn bill up top.
So set boundaries. Monday, Wednesday, Sunday. But most of all, just be available for them once you set your boundaries.
Right, facts.
I never missed a visit. My girlfriend and I made it. That was our Saturday out. We went to see him. We went to Cracker Barrel. We went to the outlets. We went to the wine factory, and we came on home. So we had a good day. It was nothing depressing about it.
Nice.
You know, he came out looking healthy. My son is CDO, real bad. So a white t-shirt that he took in 10 years later was still white. So, you know, set the boundaries, make it enjoyable, make the visits enjoyable. I wrote my son every day. He got mail every day. I wrote 10 cards on Sunday when I got home from church. I had funny ones, serious ones, based on how I heard his conversation is how I mailed my mail. But every day if it was mail, he got mail. Real important.
Different type of breed. You're a different type of breed.
Listen to this.
You know, Miss Bettye a different type of breed. Miss Bettye a scholar. You know what I mean? So I mean, her son was probably getting stuff that he can flip and be like, look, well, this is what my mother told me. Boy, listen, this is how y'all can move. Like that's the type of mama he got. You know what I mean? Like
I was sharing diabetic stuff with one of his cellmates' mom who didn't have insurance.
That's what I'm saying. You was a resource. You was the whole prison mommy. You was this whole prison mommy.
They loved me when I came. If I didn't come and somebody else went and I came the next week, they were like, "Where were you last week?" I was like, "Don't worry, he had a visit now. He had a visit."
So I wondered, does he still stay in communication with any of the brothers that may have not came home or still locked up?
He doesn't keep in touch with anybody that's there because he ain't taking none of them calls because his wife ain't having it. Right. That's okay.
I can respect
it. As some came home after him, he was there for them. Nice. He made sure they had tennis, they had some money if they smoked cigarettes, and he still continues to do that. Nice. Most of the guys that came home with him or during that time are doing wonderful. Good. They're doing the same thing. So he cut his circle. Good. He don't have a circle no more. It's certain, like I live in Northeast, he live in Harford County. The only time he's in Northeast is if he visited me or my sisters. Right. Other than that, but he had to learn that on his own. People, places, and things. I could tell him all day, that dude ain't no good. But he figured it out. And so here's his motto. If they ain't doing what I'm doing, we ain't got no talk.
Right. I tell if y'all tell people if you ain't about peace, you ain't about peace and you ain't about power, we ain't got nothing to talk about. We ain't
he said that
a waste of time.
Yes. That's considered growth. That's considered growth. Listen,
let me tell you, I could not be more proud of this dude as if he had a piece. You know, Lamar and I was talking this morning. He always giving my son this praise. He was like, man, let me tell you, this dude doing better than some dudes ain't never been locked up. Right. But you have to remember one thing in this whole story. If your story may not be my story if you didn't do what I did, because I didn't benefit from what he did outside my house. As a matter of fact, I probably almost got him killed a couple times throwing stuff away. But when I threw it away, I paid for it. I called them and I asked them to come and I paid them. I made them give it to me wholesale, but I paid them and they say he ain't had no business out there anyway. Yeah. So, but if you benefiting, if you benefiting from what they're doing, I don't have no rap for you. Ain't nothing I can tell you.
I'm about to say, because that's part of the problem. If you sitting up there and benefit from it,
I can't help you.
You know your son is the killer out here. You housing the killer. You know what I mean? I don't feel bad for you. I'm not donating to your GoFundMe.
So that's my story. If your story ain't my story, we don't need to connect.
Thanks. I love you, Miss Bettye. You know I love you. I always love you, Miss Bettye. When I first met you, Miss Bettye, I always like you. You're OG for real.
So Miss Bettye is the community mother. We want to thank you, Miss Bettye Blaize, for being our guest on the RTV Radio Show again through the Radio Fire broadcast. She's the co-author of Doing Time with My Son. She and her son, Terrence White, wrote a book. And as she stated earlier, you have to go back. But as she stated, she and her son wrote it separately. And she was not even really knowing some of the things he said until she read it. So this was definitely a mother's and son's enduring love through incarceration. Again, we want to thank you, Ms. Bettye. If you would like to support her and or she support you and your programs with any of the adolescents, male or female, Please, this book would be tremendous to do in your support groups. You can go to doingtimewithmyson.com, purchase a book, have study on it, discussion on it. As you know, Brother Nance said, you know, you can have it there. Try to get you in some buildings. As she stated, they're going across the country with this. We want to make sure that home here, Baltimore, is supporting her as well. So thank you again, Ms. Bettye Blaize, for coming on. Is there anything you would like to say as we end it?
I'd like to leave with this message. Sometimes to understand the journey, you have to go back to the beginning. That's for our young people. To understand, you got to go backwards.
Awesome. Now, this was a special Mother's Day edition. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, mothers.
Happy Mother's Day to every mother out there, whether you birthed a child or you were a bonus mom. We thank you for all that you're doing to instill in our young people and to restore our village. And I'm going to send it over to Brother Nance as he sends it out. He just laughs.
Over here. My business partner is over here.
Hey, Angie.
Oh,
Hey!
Yo, my business partner been over here the whole time. I'm trying to be serious.
We're going to have to do some stuff there. But look, we got to stay on time. Come on,
I'm going to stay on
Nance.
time. No, but you know what? I apologize for being late. You know, I'm building. I just want to say, you know, thank you, Miss Bettye, again for all you do in the community, and not only holding your son up, but holding other brothers up in the community, including myself and Dr. Shields and other brothers that you have impacted. So again, family, we're restoring the village radio. Remember, we don't have good days, we create them, so we can create the life we want, so we can spread our love, light, peace, and power to the world. If you ain't acquiring power, you ain't and pushing toward revolution within yourself, you cannot possibly push a revolution for the community. So peace and power. Think about that. And I'm going to leave y'all with that. Love y'all. Peace.
Thank you. See y'all next.
Yo, what's up? This your boy Mad Skills, VA all day, and right now you checking out Drink Champs. Let's get it.
Drink Champs. Drink Champs.
What it good be? Hopefully this is what it should be. This is your boy NORE.
What up, it's DJ EFN.
This is Military Crazy War, Yappy Hour, Drink Champs, motherfucking podcast.
Make
some noise! And right now, when you talk about stables, when you talk about a legend, when you Google Virginia, this man's face should pop up like the State Farm commercial.
It doesn't already?
I think it does. But the man, when you talk about bars, bar lord, when you talk about lyrical, when you talk about everybody from his state has to pay homage to him, the first very one from that, and we're gonna get to the if this is the South or not debate today.
It's been a discussion, yeah.
But the man has transitioned. The man is with Ghost Rider. He's done numerous things, and he's still here, and we're gonna get to all the controversy, everything, but we don't even know right now. Virginia's #1 representative in the world. Motherfucking Mad Skills, make that.
Can we say Mad Skills, or you just want to be Skills? Wow. Hell of an intro.
So let me just say something, right? Because we have Pharrell on here, right, and this became a controversial topic. He declared Virginia as being the South, but said that Baltimore was the South too. The Baltimore
that was a
didn't.
controversy.
The Baltimore people did not like that.
Yeah.
They were like, no, we are not the South.
Yeah, be more. No, I wouldn't say be more is the South.
So the South starts in Virginia?
Yeah, we right on the middle of the Mason-Dixon line.
Mason-Dixon line.
And it was the capital of the South. It's the capital of the South. So
like
during
the Confederacy. Wait, Virginia was or still is?
No, during the Confederacy.
Yeah, it's really?
Commonwealth all day.
Wow, yeah. I got kicked out of Virginia Mall because I was, I swear to God, I was walking through and people were following me. And instead of like the police saying, yo, stop the people, the police said, you gotta go. I said, how the fuck? What did I do? He said, you're soliciting. I said, soliciting? I said, holy shit.
Police in Virginia crazy.
So let's just take it back, right? Because a lot of people got the, this is another Pharrell thing too. A lot of people got, Teddy Riley was like a person who kind of like made Virginia hot. Is that accurate to say?
Yes.
But Teddy was from New York. So how did that go?
When Teddy came down, we were like enamored, you know what I'm saying, lost, so to speak, because it was like he was right there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you be
and Teddy was like Puff Daddy at that time.
Nigga, you be in school at lunch and niggas like, yo, Michael Jackson's in fucking Virginia Beach. And you're like, nigga, what?
Right.
Like, fuck you mean?
Oh, yeah.
So Teddy coming down and making that move opened up, like he opened up a whole fucking stratosphere of opportunities.
Right.
Like you gotta think Teddy's the only nigga that was a super producer and made, like, well, not made, but opened the door for two other super producers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Nigga got a whole genre for him.
Right,
yeah. New Jack Swing is New Jack him.
Swing, yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, you go, you know, you ride by the studio and see the fucking Lambo, the Ferrari, you like, nigga, like, it's right there. You know what I'm saying? The Ferrari was super close.
Out of all the places that Teddy could have went, what made him pick Virginia?
I have no clue.
Right.
I have no clue. I remember being at Something in the Water, the first one.
The Ferrari.
Yeah. At the
You didn't invite me to that
one. Yeah. I remember being at Something in the Water. My man Boogie, you know what I'm saying? Shout out my man Boogie. We standing there watching Teddy perform, and he said to me, he said, Skills, do you realize that Teddy is performing Rump Shaker on the same beach that he shot the video, hosted at a fucking festival by the nigga he put on 20 X amount of years later.
Wow.
Like, that's insane.
Wow.
That's crazy. You know what I mean? Like,
So
hold fast to dreams. For when dreams go, life is a barren field, frozen with snow.
when was the first time? Because I want to read what Pusha T said.
Shout Push.
So, you know, this is what I do when I interview people. I hit people that's around them or close to them. He said, no real story, just that he was really the first rapper that was truly proud of from VA. He was performing with the Tribe, I believe, when they came to VA for a show. And that alone meant that he made it in my eyes. I remember his outfit, a Tommy or Polo, chino style zip up. We weren't like friends or anything back then. We weren't even from the same town, but I thought he represented VA the way I wanted to see it done. He probably doesn't remember that time. Might not even remember me there.
I never knew he was there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But let
me try to say a little bit. When people thought of Virginia, it was one person they thought of at one time. Because I know we just thought of Teddy, but Teddy, let's just be clear, Teddy was from Harlem.
Yeah, all day.
You, like, when you Google all of these people names, from Pusha T to Pharrell to Timberland, what was that like? That's one part question. Let's just answer that question first.
I mean, to be first was always weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's all my and niggas forget the first. You know what I'm saying? They're quick to. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like we pay enough respects to the Bams and the Hercs and you know what I'm saying, like shit like that. So it's like when you first is weird. But I knew that where I was from had to be represented in a way that people hadn't seen it before. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was niggas calling us country, niggas calling us Bammers and shit. Same shit with Atlanta in a way. But I was like, my nigga, like we get fucking busy. Like, we do what we do. Like, half y'all niggas down here at school anyway. Come down here and get show money, drug money. Right. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So it's like, what I ain't gonna do is clown us, but nobody was out there. The only nigga was D'Angelo. Right. And that's R&B, like so niggas like, oh man, you know D'Angelo, you know, I'm like, nigga, what you want to do? From Virginia? Yeah, he's from Richmond. I didn't even know that either. Yeah, I'm like, he came out first. So Brown Sugar dropped, the album dropped. He's hailed as a R&B superstar. Niggas like, oh, you know, he don't really say the town. I'm like,
D'Angelo got a lot of pussy.
I'm like, nigga, I'm like, nigga, he an R&B artist. What you want to make a song called fucking Cruising in Richmond? Like, what the fuck? He an R&B artist. So it was up to me to hold that flag, and I was like, when I get the shot, like it's gonna be a problem
because it was like Michael Vick and Allen Iverson, and then you, like that was it. Yeah. And then we kind of knew because I want to say like I don't want to say like conscious, but you were like you were aware. But when we looked at Michael Vick and when we looked at AI, we said these guys are, and then we looked up Newport News. Yeah, Bad News. Yeah. So what was it like hearing these guys? Or did you know AI?
Yeah. We call AI Bubba Chuck.
Bubba Chuck. Yeah, like I see the documentary.
We that's all we knew. So Vic, Bubba Chuck, to see them make it, you know what I'm saying? We knew like that we had people that we were talented. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to understand, like I'm from a town called Richmond. It's like an hour away from where Pharrell and them are. So
they from Newport Beach.
Yeah, they from like Virginia Beach, but it's 7 cities in that whole region. So imagine fucking Miami. Right. Imagine Florida, Miami, and let's say Fort Myers is fucking 20 minutes away. Right. Orlando's 15 minutes away. Fucking
and that's a whole city.
And it's a whole different city. So they got 7 different cities from where I'm from. I'm like an hour back towards inland, you know what I'm saying? Like Richmond. So like to see AI and Vic, man, it was like somebody. You know what I'm saying? And they was repping it. D'Angelo, he was repping it, but he R&B. So it's, you know what I'm saying? He ain't about to wear 8 chains and a fucking VA jersey. You know what I'm saying? So AI, man, it's like a god. Him and Vic like gods in Virginia. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, man. Let's make some noise for that.
Yeah.
You gonna drink some rock? Yeah. New bottle? You got that new bottle, goddamn. Give me a new bottle. Roz, get on camera, bro. Shit. Oh, that's all we got? But you like regular shit, right?
Regular
yeah,
shit.
Cool. We'll give a part some more. Don't worry.
We do it.
Yeah, so boom. How did you even come up?
Q-Tip.
Okay. Okay.
Q-Tip put you on? Q-Tip. I was discovered by Q-Tip.
You went too fast. Okay, hold on. All right. Let's describe that. Is this the show that Pusha T is talking about?
Yes. Well, later.
Okay.
So 93, I go to Jack the Rapper in Atlanta.
Hold on. You youngins. Listen.
Those were the days.
I'm sorry to be old right now.
Yeah.
But listen, you motherfuckers asking me to look at your Instagram and get tags. We used to have shit called Jack the fucking Rapper.
Yeah.
We had to wait on fucking line to see DJ Red Alert.
Thanks.
To see DJ Khaled, to see these people.
Yeah.
And that was real grind. I'm sorry, you just gotta be in a flashback. I'm sorry, man. I call it the Holy Ghost, man. The Holy Rap Ghost. I'm sorry,
Professor. Jack the Rapper was one of the original conference.
Yeah, the original before
I Can I Be Down.
After Freaknik and all that.
Yeah. So I go to Atlanta with 3 of my homies, and I'm in this lobby. We got passes, so we legit. We ain't sneaking around. We got we paid our money. You know what I'm saying? So I'm walking around, and it's in the lobby. It's a huge ass hotel, fucking 60 floors, right? So I see these niggas in the corner like bopping, like niggas is like it's a beat playing. I can hear a beat. I see niggas like bopping. I'm like, yo, who that? That beat hard. You know what I'm saying? I walk over and I see fucking Q-Tip, but it's like imagine this shit right here. This is a plant, but it's like the lobby's so big, it's a fucking tree in the lobby, but it's in a plant.
This after Benita Applebone.
This is the summer that Midnight Marauders is about to come out.
So
he's full. This is
out of here.
This is when niggas
security in front of him.
Niggas had found out like he did One Love, he did the fucking Mobb Deep shit.
Wow.
Like niggas like, oh, he doing them beats.
Wow.
So I see it was a producer from Jersey. His name was Latif. These niggas had a radio and they bopping.
Wow.
And I'm looking and I can't get in. It's too many niggas around to get in. I go to the back of the fucking tree. This shit's like 6 feet tall. It's like a fucking potted plant. I crawl up on the back of the shit and walk over. So this nigga looks over his shoulder.
You came out of a tree.
Like he looks over his shoulder like, damn, who is son in the tree? But I'm vibing and I'm vibing. So he like, yo, nigga ain't trying to rob me no shit. So Tip's like looking. So it's a nigga rapping for Q-Tip and I'm sitting there like, nah, nigga, like, nah. So I start rapping. Right. So I start rapping and he looking like, yo, this nigga crazy, like this shit crazy. The nigga that I cut off cut me back off. Wow. So now I'm like, oh nigga, you want to battle now? So I cut him off, go ham, fucking demolish this nigga. I was definitely a battle rapper. I go ham, body the nigga. Security comes over, yo, y'all gotta disperse, yo, my man come down at the tree like y'all doing too much.
Oh, you doing all this happening in the tree?
Shit in the tree.
Wait, you battling from the tree?
From the tree.
Oh, my nigga. Okay.
So I get off the tree, but I'm standing over to the side. And you know, niggas is walking up the tip like this is my tape, you know, from Jersey. But I see him, he keep like looking to his right, like I guess to see if I'm there. So I'm like, I ain't going nowhere, I'm just gonna stand here. So I'm standing there, I see the nigga, he like, yo, come here, son. So I walk over, he like, yo, what's your name? I said, Mad Skills. He's like, yo, son, you ill, son. Wow. Where are you ill? Where you from, son? I was like, I'm from Virginia. He was like, from where? I said, Virginia. He was like, yo, what you doing after this? I said, no, I'm just chilling, my nigga. Like, well, what's up? He's like, yo, you want to roll to this radio station? And I was like, fuck yeah. We go up to his room. This is the first time I seen a nigga had a suite. I'm used to walking in hotel rooms and it's the fucking hotel room. We walk in the room, it's the suite. I'm like, oh, this nigga got the whole
She's like a crib.
Polo shit everywhere. Fucking clothes, Timbs, you know what I'm saying? This, that, and the third. He said, yo, I'm going to get dressed real quick. Let me change. Yo, sit down real quick. Yo, and it's a CD player right here.
Like some Harvey Weinstein shit.
The nigga goes, but it's Q-Tip. You know what I'm saying? So the nigga goes, yo, I'm gonna get dressed real quick. Yo, this the album. And the nigga hit a button and I hear, ooh.
And he plays you the album.
Nigga, and I'm sitting there like before. Only thing out was a war tour. So I'm sitting there.
Is your homies there to witness?
No, it's just me.
So if you didn't become who you are,
nigga,
people would thought you was lying.
Nigga, straight lie.
And there's no Instagram back then.
Nigga, nothing. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, what the fuck is like some jazz shit? Like, what the fuck is this? And I hear Linden Boulevard represent. And I'm like, oh shit. Like the fucking album. So I hear the fucking album. I think the next song was Award Tour. I think the next song was the fight went to Linden Boulevard to get a milkshake. This nigga comes out the room like, yo, you ready? I'm like, yeah, like nigga, let's
you
go.
want to still listen to the album.
Right, because I'm like,
how old are you at that point?
Shit, I'm like early 20s, like 20, maybe 21. We get in the elevator. Litro's in the elevator. His road manager, we go downstairs, and me being thinking mine, I had one of those yellow fucking Kodak cameras. I said, yo, let's take a picture real quick. He like, all right, cool, the van's supposed to come up. We take the picture, this little kid walks into the picture. I got shit on my gram, it's crazy. Little kid walks into the picture, I get into the van, I slide over, he get in the front seat, this nigga goes, yo, this is my man Merce and this Mace. And I turn around and fucking Daylight is in the fucking back of the van. And I'm like, nigga, I'm in the native tongue.
That was the next question. Was you official native tongue?
No, I wasn't, but I swear I wish I was.
Wow.
And he tells Pops, he goes, yo, this nigga ill, son. Pops goes, he crazy? He's like, yo, son, this nigga ill, son.
Now, you was native tongue, I think about it. Because you know why? It's like Redman is technically Wu-Tang's.
Yeah, and Death Squad, of course.
Yeah. So, wow, okay. All right, so the Hip Hop Confession series.
Right.
What was the motive behind that?
Well, I started, it's just like 10 years old, right? So I started it, and this is what's crazy. I had this idea.
I should bitch your shit. This is the confession.
Not really, but I'm running around and I'm asking niggas like shit, like, yo, like tell me some stories, like tell me some hip hop shit, like what's your hip hop confession? Right. So it was niggas like, yo, you know, I never really, you know, listen to so and so. I don't like so and so as an MC. I know you're the hottest nigga. I don't like him. Like it was shit you would say that you really wouldn't say around the homies. Right. So hip hop confession started because me and Bink sat down and I had it.
The producer Bink.
Yeah, and I had it was a whole TV show.
So VA too, right?
Yeah. I had a whole TV show and we put the shit out. And then after like 6 episodes, it got harder to find niggas to want to tell the truth and tell stories. So I fell back off the shit. Then a year later, podcast happened.
Wow.
And I'm like, fuck, nigga, I was early.
Wow.
So niggas been asking me for 10 years straight, yo, bring back Hip Hop Confessions. Right. So I just brought it back like this year.
And you got it's gonna be a podcast?
Yeah,
Make some noise for that.
I just brought it back.
So, Supernatural, what was y'all relationship? Y'all battled?
If you was a battle MC at that time, you going through Supernatural.
So I send the demo in the back of the source to Clark Kent, Superman Battle for World Supremacy. Yes, that's my OG right there. I got a funny Clark Kent story too.
Everybody got funny Clark Kent story.
I send the tape in and fucking I get picked. I get to New York. And it's the New Music Seminar. It's 30 right there on fucking Midtown Manhattan, fucking 49th and whatever. Hella green badges, all this shit. So it's 16 MCs. They did a DJ battle, did a rap battle. It's 16 MCs. I see this one nigga walking with dreads. I'm like, yeah, this nigga different. Like, it's gonna be me and him. Like, this nigga different. So he start running past motherfuckers, getting them out of there. I'm doing the same thing. Puff is on the judging table. Tracy Waples, Sheena Lester, and Todd One from fucking MTV, from Yo MTV Raps. So nigga, it get to the end, and Dame is there. Like this nigga they can't decide who's gonna win. And I think the winner was you got a demo deal and the jacket and a ring, and then the second person got a demo